Look real. That's what reviewers say.
What I try to model is the Denver Rio Grande Western in the fall of 1952. So that's why you see most of the yellow aspen trees and evergreens and stuff like that here. So, this is just basically my concept of what Colorado should look like.
Gives new meaning to game room. Now, is this is new here, right?
Yeah, that's a full-scale model of Durango, Colorado Depot.
You've been out to Durango then?
Oh, yeah, every year. Yeah. The train that's running is a K28 473. It was the only one that was painted with a yellow paint scheme back in 1950. So they call it the B train, the bumblebee train. Of course, the cars that are pulling behind it, you can still ride in some of those cars today, the Durango and Silver. The Silver Vista car was built back in the 40s, and the original one that's modeled after was destroyed in a fire in about 53. And the DNS rebuilt the car back in like 2000 to original specifications, so you can still ride on the Silver Vista one. Standard gauge L131. This is the largest standard gauge locomotive, steam locomotive, that Rio Grande Western ever had. This is a 2882.
Big boy.
Oh yeah, clear. Everything just misses on that.
Now, did those early trains use roller bearing?
Rockets from Colorado as well. Everything on the layout, ballast, all this stuff.
This detailer.
The side frames of the trucks, the front pilot, the nose, the roof, the horns, the fans, the ends.
Good, nice.
Even inside there's an EMD 567 engine. If you look in the portholes, you'll see the engine inside there.
What is this?
Same thing I showed you downstairs, it's all urethane.
Oh. You sent me that video where they were casting some of those wheels, shrinking tire on there.
Oh yeah.
Over in England.
Right. Yeah, you have to heat up the tire to be able to shrink it onto the wheel.
Would you have worked for the railroad?
No.
No.
Too hard to lie.
All aboard.
Every little line has a decoder in it. So, I just use some constant
So it depends on which train he wants to run, and you can get out the different.
concept of the
Yeah.
I've got plenty of pictures. Here, on the wrong side of the ship. So the line shaft right on the right side.
Tell me about sports cars.
This particular engine ran was in Rio Grande, California. They were outside their body. He says the wheels are it has to articulate it in and out.
Yeah.
Where the joints have to.
So diesel is what put this out of business? Is that what it is? Yeah. Just the amount of detail. What was that leather strap for?
It's where the engine can hang off the side, and so I had him. This was an O scale plan or S scale plan. I don't know whatever it was. Anyway, I had him blow it up to 22.5 when I set it up to basically do about the same thing. So, but the engine, this is, like you said, the engine, you know, building the engine and the crank and all of that stuff is going to be intense to get all that stuff put together. The body is fairly easy. The drive unit, I'm basically having to kind of custom make that. The ring and pinion gears and stuff here. This is just the basic chassis to hold the wheels. This is going to be for the front wheels here. And again, it's going to ride on the standard gauge track there and stuff. I'm going to do a lot more. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive it from the rear wheels, so that basically there's going to be a motor in here and a motor in there driving these two sets of drivers. The drivetrain itself will turn and the engines will move up and down, but it will be a facade only. The motor power for the engine will come from the rear set of wheels. The creation center right here is basically what it boils down to. This is some passenger cars that I'm working on right now.
Building them from scratch?
Oh yeah, yeah. And what I do is I get plans and take the measurements off of this, multiply by 2.14. That gives me what size I need to make the G scale stuff. It's I make a master out of plastic, and I make a rubber mold of it, and then these are all urethane castings that I make. So basically, that's just a casting that comes out of the mold out of what I've created. And right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use a closed-in car here instead of an open-in car that I've already created. And so what I'm trying to do is create the master for the end of it, so that I can then make a new mold and then make the castings, and then so I can cast it, because I need to make ends for these cars as well as some other ones that I want to build.
Well, what is this?
It's 2-part urethane. It's a 50-50 mixture of chemicals that basically make those castings.
It's interesting, isn't it? Your life would be a lot easier without a wood.
I take it you haven't done any casting at all?
No.
Oh gosh, it
You
makes
should.
life so much better, because I can create a car in no time compared to what it would be if I had to hand make every piece.
Yeah.
All of my locomotives, bridges, and everything else upstairs are castings. And so it's like the way, it's like the fast track to get there.
Even
So-
faster would be 3D printing.
I agree. Well, what I would like to do with 3D printing is make the master with the 3D printer,
And then
and then
cast
make
it.
the rubber mold
Yeah.
of the 3D part, and then cast
Cast
it on.
them all.
Yeah.
I'll show you an F unit that I created upstairs, and I was trying my best to get a 3D cab made for that, and I could never find anybody that was a model railroader and a 3D artist at the same time.
Interesting.
Because you need both to be able to get the concept and exactness of what you're wanting to do. If you go to somebody that knows 3D, they're like, it's a train.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You know, it's
They don't
like
know the detail.
They don't have a concept of the detail that I'm looking for.
Right.
There's, you know, they're interested in a blob, and I'm interested in a highly fine piece. So.
A scale model.
Do you feel like model railroading has gone up in interest, or is this kind of a lost hobby, or is this, in your estimation?
I don't, you know, I would say it's declined some because basically there's too many computers that are, you know, taking kids, you know, interest away and stuff. But, you know, in my age range and above, basically it's still pretty active.
Well, what's interesting, because getting a train under the Christmas tree was always kind of the big thing. But now that's what I'm saying. Your generation is probably at the point where they have the financial means to actually take it to the next level too. So it's kind of interesting dichotomy there, probably.
But again, a lot of people are looking for instant gratification, and they want to buy it.
Right.
You know, whereas I'm looking to make it from scratch. Is basically what it boils down to.
Come a long way.
Yeah, those are.
That's a lot of sound coming out of the...
Oh yeah, for that little engine, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Let me see if I can get something going.
Just the detail work.